Hello everyone, it's Brian Akeem here, and welcome to my second live stream. Thank you all for your patience. I'm really sorry about the wait. You guys will not believe what has happened. So we're back on. Hopefully, do you guys hear me? Alright, so Eastside Badger and Dan's reviews are here. Hopefully they can hear me. Can you guys let me know if you hear me? Because I've been having a lot of trouble with the second live stream. Tough to pull off. I I had some serious trouble getting it started. I mean, my computer crashed. I don't know what happened, but yeah. So hopefully, we won't have any issues. So if you guys are there, Eastside Badger or Dan, please just let me know if you're there, because I'm just wondering if anyone's currently watching. But yeah, I just hope my stream is finally started. So if you guys see the thumbnail or the picture that's in front, it's a picture of, well, the season 10 poster, as well as Fear the Walking Dead season 5 poster and the Walking Dead World Beyond poster. And I kind of combined them all, but unfortunately they had this, I don't know, kind of weird effect going on. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Like it's very small. Like it's kind of shrunk down. I'm not sure. I was trying to get all of the images, you know what I mean, so it looks good, but I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah. So I guess I'll wait while we wait for people to come into the live stream. I guess I'll just talk about all three universes, or actually they're not even three universes. There are three shows in the same universe, but three Walking Dead properties. So the Walking Dead main show, Fear the Walking Dead, and the World Beyond. So obviously, out of these three, the Walking Dead main show will always be my favorite, and I am excited to see how the World Beyond is. But unfortunately, I feel like it's just going to be very similar to Fear, and I'm not at all excited for Fear the Walking Dead season 6. Not entirely, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, I hope it's going to be good, but I mean, judging by season 4 and 5, I just don't see that happening. So yeah, Eastside Badger asked earlier before I started the stream, how's it going, guys? And Dan said, good, can't wait for it to start. Well, good news, guys, because hopefully it finally started, and I'm still waiting for people to get here. But yeah, I understand this wait. I'm really sorry. My computer crashed, and like I don't know what happened. Just the software kept crashing, and but yeah. So I guess we're just gonna keep waiting for people to show up, but that's okay. So I honestly don't know where these three Walking Dead, shows are gonna go entirely. Like, are they gonna merge together? You know what I mean? At some point, like, are they gonna all three connect to the movies? So I'm not really sure, but I gotta say, like, I mean, next year in 2020, I'm gonna try and not only review all 16 episodes of the Walking Dead main show, but also the 16 episodes from Fear the Walking Dead and the 10 episodes from the World Beyond series. So yeah, I plan on doing all of that. So I'm pretty sure that's like 42 episodes a year. So that's basically oh, looks like I got a response. Dan said, "Hey, hi Dan. I'm glad you came. Thanks for coming. Is the audio okay? Everything sounds right or sounds like it normally does? Because yeah, and I'm really sorry that this live stream started really late. I mean, like I was at choir practice, and not just that, but I got home and tried to start the stream, and my computer just crashed, and I had to reset it, restart it, and everything. So I don't know what's going on with my computer, but yeah, I'm glad you came. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm more than excited and ready for some questions. So I want to talk so while Dan or other people try to ask me some questions, I want to just mention that as far as Angela King and what she's been doing with season 10 so far, I think it's really I think it's okay with season 10, but I do think it could have been better. Unfortunately, I do see some Gimple-like mistakes that Angela King made in the first half of season 10, like a filler episode and, just some things like, slow pacing, but I definitely think that the second half of season 10 is going to be amazing. Dan said, no problem, man, and I can hear you good. Well, I'm glad, Dan. Thanks for clarifying that. And thank you for the mention in your videos earlier today about my live stream. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, thanks a lot, for everything. You know, you make great Walking Dead videos, better than me, honestly. But I just thank you for all the support you've showed. So I appreciate it. So as far as the Walking Dead series, I still see the main show ending at season 12, just because I can't see, Norman and Melissa staying to season 13, and even the Fear group. I mean, you can't see all of it, but the picture I have, like the poster of Fear the Walking Dead season 5, it looks like the characters are trying to act like superheroes. Like, I honestly just, I don't understand. Like, Fear the Walking Dead just really does not feel like, it doesn't feel like The Walking Dead should be. I mean, I can't think of, like, the most brutal thing in Fear the Walking Dead. Like, if I had to think of the top 10 most brutal moments in the main show, I could do that because there really are a lot of moments like that, you know. But in Fear, I just can't think of a single death that made me like horrified or just. I mean, sure, there's a few that shocked me, but like not ones that I've had to look away or anything. So honestly, Fear just it doesn't deserve in a way it doesn't deserve the Walking Dead title. They really need to improve it. And the World Beyond series, I hope you know, it doesn't fall in the same problem as Fear. So, anyways, if any of you guys are out there, it's live stream tonight. I'm thinking about having it go for an hour or two. It really depends on how many people ask. Uh, Unfortunately, I mean, it's only been 7 minutes, but with the rate it's going now, it might not be a long live stream tonight, but it really depends on just more people and, asking questions and putting comments and things like that. So how long this live stream lasts tonight just honestly just depends on how many people show up and how many responses I get. Oh, Dan asks Q&A, who is the number one character in the Walking Dead main show that you miss the most? Very great question, Dan. And I gotta say, it's gotta be Glenn. I mean, Glenn was an everyman character. Like pretty much every viewer, like related to him. He was this young guy who had a simple job and he was a nice guy. And eventually the apocalypse happened and, he met this person that he cared for and then he wanted to start a family with them. He wasn't a great sharpshooting cop. He wasn't like any of those things like the other characters. He wasn't a superhero like Michonne or Daryl. He was just so yeah. I miss Glenn the most, and it's not just that. It's honestly like I feel like even though I'm a strict follower of the comics, I think Glenn's death is like one of the few, if not the only time I'm gonna say it was a mistake to follow in that way of the comics. Because right now there's no Maggie, there's no Herschel, and I'm just thinking I'm like, how different would the main show be if Glenn was still around? And plus, Glenn was just killed off for shock value. At least in the comic, it had a reason for killing him off, but in the show, there was just no reason whatsoever that they should have killed off Glenn. Plus, the viewership dropped, and honestly, if he was still alive, I think it really would have helped the show. I think the show would definitely have more viewers. So even now, like even with characters like Rick and Daryl, I still have to say for the first 6, 7 seasons, Glenn is honestly still the best character. I feel like just because he relates to a lot of people and you see his character go and you think there's still more to it, but unfortunately he dies. So I definitely think that I mean I miss Glenn the most because like I said, it's such a tragic story, and now looking back on it, I feel like they could have done more. Dan says definitely Glenn for me too. Then I'd say Carl, Herschel, and after that, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, Glenn definitely, absolutely. And Carl, I mean, it's not easy. I don't know. I mean, I definitely wouldn't have killed off Carl, but I think for some reason I don't like miss Carl. And it's not because I didn't like him. I mean, I did like Carl. I don't really miss him because I feel like they had Judith like replace him, or Judith and Henry replace him, and it actually worked pretty well. Like, even though it didn't work 100%, Judith is somewhat replacing Carl. And for Herschel, I mean, I miss him too, but I mean, I felt like it was his time, and his legacy lived on. So thank you, Dan. Eastside Badger says Steven Yeun wanted to go out of the show though. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but then again, like, there could have been several actors who wanted to leave but got convinced to stay. I mean, did they try? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if I was the showrunner, I would have actually tried to make sure that Glenn stayed. And I know, and maybe, like, he wanted that death, but I mean, sometimes sometimes the actors, I mean, if they're willing to stay longer, I mean, was Stephen Young willing to stay longer if they paid him more? I mean, to keep Glenn around, if I was a showrunner, I think I would have done that. And yeah, I mean, you can't stop an actor who wants to leave. I mean, that happened with Nick in Fear the Walking Dead. So I can understand it, but if Glenn did have to go, they shouldn't have had Abraham die too, you know? So Eastside Badger, like, I heard about that, and that makes sense, but it only makes sense if Glenn was the only person to die in the Lucille lineup. So if the actor absolutely wanted to leave and there was no way to keep him, longer, then I could understand that, but I still don't understand killing Abraham there too, because unfortunately that led to Glenn's death being just shock value. It didn't move the story. It didn't really do anything for the story. Like, Abraham took the punishment for Rick's group killing all of the saviors, and then Negan only killed Glenn because of what Daryl did. So that just it just didn't make sense. It was like subverting expectations, but honestly, I didn't. It just didn't make sense of how they did it. Dan says, I think Glenn should have been one of the leads like Daryl and Carol after Rick left the show. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Dan. I mean, can you imagine if Glenn was still alive? I mean, like, that would be amazing. Like, I can imagine, like, a much older Glenn, maybe even having a beard, and him being the leader of the Hilltop and taking care of Herschel while Maggie is at the Commonwealth. I think that would have been, very interesting. And one of the reasons, I mean, yeah, Glenn was a nice guy, but he did have his moments, his dark moments. And Daryl and Carol have also had their moments as well of getting dark. So I would have liked to see that. Eastside Badger says he was willing to stay, but he was going to get killed if he wanted the comic death. I'm sorry, Eastside Badger. Hold on. I might have misread that. He was willing to stay, but if he was going to get killed, he wanted to come to. Oh, yeah. Uh, so the thing is, maybe, like, I would have just kept Glenn indefinitely because, I mean, honestly, like, the comic death is iconic to Glenn, absolutely, but it doesn't mean like you have to kill him off. I mean, like Carol, she in the comics died, from a walker. She let a walker bite her, and the actress, she didn't want that death, or it's not like she didn't say anything about that. And there's a couple of times, like Tyrese in the show, he didn't, get his comic death. So, you never know if, like, there could be a death that another character or an actor will want to get, because there's a lot of iconic deaths in The Walking Dead. So, I mean, like, Tyree, like, Herschel got Tyrese's iconic death. So, it could have changed his mind if they were going to kill him off. But I think keeping Glenn, like, if Glenn was still around now, like season 10, like, he would probably be one of those characters that just would have never been killed off. In fact, honestly, like, they could have honestly have killed off Maggie, honestly, like, around season 10 to 12, and given her story to Glenn. I mean, the show likes to reinvent things, and I'm just saying, like, at the moment, like, more people dislike Maggie than, Glenn. It's just crazy. But if, yeah, so I would say that, yeah, That's pretty much what I would say. I would just keep him around for as long as possible. And you agree, which I guess is, I'm guessing you're talking to Dan, Eastside Badger, when you say I agree. So yeah, so that seems to be all the comments. I'm just gonna wait for a couple more. So, you know, I mean, I just want to try something. I can maybe ask you guys something, if that's all right. So, do you guys honestly see Fear the Walking Dead season 6 just reinventing the show? I mean, just amazing us all because I looked at, oh, here's another one from Dan's reviews. Big question to answer here, but what do you think they're going to do with Maggie's character when she returns? That's a very good question, Dan. So I definitely think that Maggie is going to come to Alexandria when it's like the herd comes or something. So I definitely think that she's going to come towards the end of the Whisper War or at the very end, and Maggie is going to just help them rebuild and stuff and just introduce them to the Commonwealth. I think she's gonna maybe say, hey, there's this community that Georgie knows about, and I can bring you guys there. But the question I have with that, unfortunately, is like, then what is the point of the whole Eugene radio thing? So that's a bit weird because if Eugene knows about the Commonwealth on the radio, then there's no point for Maggie to know it too. And if Maggie knows the Commonwealth, then what's the point of the radio? Because that's how they found it in the comics. So honestly, I don't know. I'm just really confused. But I definitely think that Maggie's character, I definitely think that they're gonna build her up as like a kind of like presidential political woman character. And what I mean by that is I think Maggie, when she comes back to the story, is gonna be very like Georgie like. You know what I'm saying, Dan? I think that Maggie is gonna care about like connecting the world and rebuilding and trade and stuff like that. I think she's going to be doing that more instead of like fighting walkers with them or fighting whisperers. I think that Maggie is no longer going to be that type of character who would go out and, scout or fight, enemies. I think that she's going to be more of a stay at, at the community leader or person. So I definitely think that that's going to happen with Maggie. As far as what's going to happen with Negan, I honestly don't know what could happen with Negan when Maggie returns because I don't think, no, she's not going to be happy that he's free. But in a way, she kind of can't say anything about that because she let Negan live back in the episode in season 9, episode 5, when Rick disappeared. So, there's she kind of missed her chance to kill Negan, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Dan says, Fear the Walking Dead season 6. If, if Virginia is in it, I'm sorry, but I think it's going to be terrible. And they'll add test Alicia is in the show. Oh, by the way, we need to see Virginia versus Alicia scene. Yeah, that would be interesting, Dan. So honestly, Virginia is just not a good antagonist. I mean, like can you guys think of the Walking Dead main show back in season 5? When season 5 ended with Morgan, we were all excited. We wanted to see what happens next. Rick and Morgan reunited. But then in Fear the Walking Dead season 5, it just fell flat, the ending. They decided to do another cliffhanger ending. They decided to do what happened with Rick, I guess. But that's just not a good ending. And Virginia is not a good villain. And I don't even know if Alicia is going to the community or the place where Virginia is because for some reason, like at the end of season 5, they split up all the characters, I think. So we don't know if Alicia is going in the same outpost or whatever as Virginia. So could they fight? I mean, maybe. Honestly, I would like to see like Dark Alicia again. I mean, ever since Fear, I mean, I always love Alicia. I love the actress and I love the character, but Alicia season 5, at least the second half, has been so boring. The second half, Alicia has been boring. I mean, all she did was just have like post-traumatic things about walkers or having like panic attacks similar to Sadiq, but not as bad, and just painting. That's all Alicia did in the second half, I think. And I just I like the first half Alicia so much more. And I definitely think that they need to bring back the fear characters or they need to put the fear back in fear. So they definitely need something like that for Virginia versus Alicia, or just something like that, because Fear needs something to bring it back up if it was ever up. Eastside Badger says Fear the Walking Dead season 6 might surprise us, but I don't know. Right now, they need something huge to get fans excited. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Eastside Badger. I mean, I just don't get it with Fear. Like, is it just there's too many characters, or just a budget, or are they trying to connect it with the Rick movies? Because if they wanted to like shock us with Fear the Walking Dead season 6, they should have just or what they should have done in season 5 was have Althea and the Fear characters come across a CRM outpost. Like, that could have been a good storyline, and they could, I don't know, like, I'm not saying like join the movies, but that could be an idea. They could have written it where the Alicia and the other characters come across a CRM outpost, and that's a huge part in the story, like for season 5. And then, if the ratings are still dropping, then they could say season 6 is going to be the last season. And, like, I don't know. It's just that I think that would have been better if season 5 introduced a CRM outpost as like the antagonist in season 5 and 6, but then like Alicia and the other characters find out that there's more of them. It's not just one outpost. So that would be shocking. Like they take out or they take over one outpost, and it's like there's like two dozen more. Just something like that. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Eastside Badger says, I think Gimple is going to tie all 3 series together, the CRM. I, I definitely think it's possible. Now, do you mean the movies as well? Because there's the main show, Fear the Walking Dead, World Beyond, and then the movies. So technically, this is 4 Walking Dead properties, technically. So 4 series, technically not 3, but I get what you're trying to say. And I just, I don't know. I don't know how Gimple. I, I'm sorry, it's a mistake. I don't think Gimple can tie all these series together because there's conflicts with the timelines and the characters and where they are and where they're not. I mean, even in the main show, there's been so many errors and timeline issues and characters disappearing, going missing. Fear did that. I mean, it's just if he can't even maintain one show, like how is he gonna do 3 shows in a movie series? And Dan says, I'd be good with that. I'm guessing you're talking about the CRM outpost in season 5 and 6. Yeah. And oh, Epic Zombie Killer, it's good to see you. Hey Brian, how are you doing tonight? Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, I had some trouble, you know, getting the live stream started. I mean, my computer crashed, and it was like I felt like the universe was trying to stop me from doing this live stream tonight. But I finally was able to get it. And you ask, hey Brian, how do you think Deanna would have reacted to Negan if she never died? That's a very good question. Yeah, very good question, Epic Zombie Killer. So I definitely think that she would be more submissive than Rick. So I definitely think that she would have handled it like she would be tougher than Gregory, but I think that she would try to work it out like like Rick did. So when Rick came across Negan, they tried to fight back, and then Negan punished them, and then Rick was subservient to Negan. So I definitely think that Deanna would have done that as well, but maybe stayed like even longer than Rick stayed subservient to Negan. So Deanna is obviously a weaker leader than Rick, but she is not as weak as Gregory. So I definitely think that she would have wanted to fight eventually, but it would have taken longer than Rick. So thank you for the question, Epic Zombie Killer. Yeah, that was a good question because you have to think back to Deanna, and she hasn't been around the show for quite a while, honestly. But yeah, so that's all the comments. We're gonna still keep going, guys. Don't worry. I'm just all caught up now, and yeah. So as far as like, I'm wondering like how many seasons can you guys see the World Beyond going? Because like the survivors, like the teens in the World Beyond, they're in a safe community. Are they gonna just leave it for like a couple episodes and come back live there, or are they just because the community they're living in with like 10,000 people, like that's a main location, right? So is it just like a first episode thing, or is it gonna be like something that's throughout the whole show. I mean, who's going to be the antagonist? Dan's reviews ask Q&A, if you have one, what's your favorite season? Oh wow. Honestly, Dan, that's a very tough question to answer. But I will say that my top favorite seasons are, let's see, I would say season 6 and season 9, somewhere around them. They're kind of tied. Season 6 and 9 are kind of my tied favorite seasons. Even though I had some issues with them, I think that they're definitely, neck and neck. So thank you for the question, Dan. Epic Zombie Killer says, "Hey Brian, do you think Deanna was killed too soon as a character?" Um, Honestly, as far as Alexandrian characters, I don't think that she was killed off too soon. I think that she was killed at the right time. I just think the way they did her death was poorly done. I mean, she like she got bit and then cut herself a little bit with the saw, and a couple hours later she's super sick and is about to kill herself so that she doesn't turn. But if a person is bitten, they can last a day or two. So that just didn't make sense. And then you get the sense that in the mid-season finale, the walkers kill her because she opens the door and yells at them, and then in episode 10 of season 6, we see that Deanna is her body's intact and she's a walker. So it's like, how'd she escape Alexandria? So that was just weird. So I went off a little bit there, but I definitely think that Deanna was not killed off too soon. I think that she was killed off at the right time, but there are many other characters who were killed off too soon. So thank you for the question. Epic Zombie Killer says, I think it'll get 3 seasons. Okay, so you're talking about The World Beyond. Honestly, that's a pretty good guess. Dan's review says World Beyond. I think it's going to be 3 to 4 seasons, if that. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean just look at Fear. I mean even Fear 3 4 seasons was pushing it, and now they're almost at season 6. So yeah. And Dan also says, wow, season 6 and 9 are my favorites, bro. Yeah, I mean they're really good seasons. I mean they had like so many interesting characters in both of them, and they also were both kind of fresh. Like season 6 had No Way Out and the Saviors, and season 9 had like the New World and then the Whisperers. No More Guns, medieval stuff. So I really like those. Eastside Badger says 1 season. Ooh, that's pretty low. I don't think the show will catch on, and with ratings dropping, I just don't see the show making it. So yeah, I mean that makes sense, Eastside Badger. I mean the world beyond, I just don't understand what exactly. I mean the kids are gonna age too, so that's an issue. And they're like 10 years in the apocalypse. Like who's gonna be the antagonist of the story? Is it just gonna be walkers? Is it gonna be the CRM? Are they gonna send them after the kids or whatever? So yeah, I just don't get it. Like who's gonna be the antagonist for a group that's 10,000 people? It just doesn't make sense. And oh, Eastside Badger says his favorites were season 2, 5, 6, and 9. Yeah, I really like season 5, but not as much as 6, and season 2 was really slow, unfortunately. I think I like season 1 more. Epic Zombie Killer says, like, yeah, if Morgan dies, I'm done watching Fear. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna stop watching Fear if Morgan dies, but I just don't see how he's still alive. I mean, I know they're probably gonna pull the dumpster fake out, but like until we see it, I just cannot believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like because just my mind cannot process how they're gonna explain how he survives. I mean, he got shot, bled out, no one's around, and the walkers were like inches away from him. So I just don't see how it's gonna happen. But I have a feeling that they're just gonna pull something out. Yeah. So thank you. And Dan says same epic zombie killer. Okay, yeah. He's agreeing that if Morgan dies, I'm done watching Fear. Yeah, I'm only gonna stop watching Fear, I think, if Alicia dies, because she's pretty much the only season 1 character left that I care about. I mean, I don't care about Strand, and Daniel is just not likable anymore. He just isn't, how Daniel used to be. So I just don't get it. Alicia, is, I think she's honestly the glue to Fear. I mean, she's the Clark family. She's the last member, so you got to keep her alive. And Eastside Badger says, Fear the Walking Dead premiered with 8 to 10 million viewers. The World Beyond won't get those numbers. Yeah, I agree, Eastside Badger. I mean, they promoted Fear the Walking Dead like a lot, and it was at the peak, right? Because like, oh yeah, I remember. So season 6 of the main show was starting, and a lot of people were excited for season 6 of the Walking Dead main show. So it makes sense where people are like they want more Walking Dead, and they're gonna check out Fear. But obviously, I don't think that's gonna work with this show. And Epic Zombie Killer says it pisses me off they can't kill Morgan because he doesn't belong to them. Wait, it pisses me off they can't kill Morgan because he doesn't belong to them. Do you mean he doesn't belong to Fear, Epic Zombie Killer? Because I agree. I mean, couldn't I don't know if it was Scott Gimple's decision or Lenny James's decision, but moving Morgan to Fear it was just a bad idea. I mean, at the beginning, sure, it was a good idea, but in the long haul, it just worked horribly. It was just a big mistake, and now they can't fix it. Oh, Epic Zombie Killer says Morgan belongs to the original show. Yeah, I agree. Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, what's next? Michonne goes to Fear. I mean, at this point, like if that happens, we're gonna have more original main show characters in Fear than even in the main show. It's just like they moved Dwight in there too. I don't even know why they moved Dwight in Fear. It's just I just don't get it. Like it just it reeks desperation when they have those characters go into Fear, even though like timeline wise it should contradict or have a problem, and the distance too. I mean, don't even get me started on that. Dan says, I liked Fear the Walking Dead so much in season 3, and now I just have almost no interest in it. Sorry to say. Yeah, no, that's alright, Dan. You have nothing to be sorry about. Honestly, like, when I was writing Fear, like, I honestly had to keep myself interested. I mean, I did the, jokes throughout my reviews, the text making fun of Fear because I just needed something. And honestly, like some of my like Fear trailer breakdowns and reviews, they get I think less attention than other videos, or they got less attention. So Fear is just it's just not in a good place right now, and I don't blame you for not liking Fear. I mean, I really liked Fear season 3 as well, even though I had some problems with it. And Eastside Badger says it was Lenny's decision to move to Fear. He wanted more screen time. Yeah, I can understand that, Eastside Badger. I mean, Gimple really messed up Morgan in season 7 and 8 with his screen time, but couldn't he have just, I don't know, promised Morgan that, I mean, Rick was leaving. Couldn't he have just promised Lenny James that he was going to get the screen time he deserves in season 9? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know. I just think that maybe Gimple could have said, like, promised him that he will definitely get screen time in season 9. So, yeah, thank you for letting me know. And Deadwalker777, hi Nate, he says, I think Lenny wants off Fear because it's so bad. Yeah, I mean, I heard about that too, Deadwalker777. I mean, honestly, like, who doesn't want to be off Fear the Walking Dead? It's not good anymore. The story is bad. The characters act inconsistent. The villains are even worse, if that's possible. But, there's still a lot of things they can do in Fear. They gotta do a CRM outpost, and they've gotta get back to the dark and gritty parts. We need something brutal to happen in Fear. I mean, can anyone think of anything brutal in Fear the Walking Dead? We've ever seen anything like the death of Glenn or the death of Noah. We never seen anything like that in Fear, I don't think. So yeah, and let's see, where am I? I finished with his question. Oh, Dan, let's hope season 6 is better, but if Morgan dies in the premiere, though, the ratings will probably go down even more. I mean, aren't they like a million viewers right now, Dan? Like, that would be crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't see how they can kill off Morgan without people knowing, or even if they don't, like, as soon as the season 6 Comic Con trailer comes in, like, or it's gonna leak, if Lenny James is spotted on set, so honestly, like, people are gonna find out Morgan is alive or dead, months beforehand. So I don't know, man. It's just not a good place where Fear is. Epic Zombie Killer says, I really wish Dave stayed on as showrunner. Do you mean Dave Erickson in what was he in season 3 of the main show? I'm sorry, I'm just not good at these remembering the showrunners. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm a fan of Dave's writing. Eastside Badger says Dwight had to move because he's involved in the AMC lawsuit. Yeah, I know Eastside Badger. It's just that if AMC owns Fear the Walking Dead too, so why does it only affect the main show? Is what I'm saying. It's just one of those things where I just if this was happening, if Austin Emilio had to leave because of the lawsuit, why didn't they just have Dwight, as a crossover character? Why did they do Morgan first and Dwight? And Dan says, I don't blame Lenny if he does, lol. Yeah, I don't blame Lenny James if he does regret. I mean, he left The Walking Dead in season 8 when it was terrible. And then now he's in Fear, and season 4 and 5 were honestly terrible. And yeah, man, I mean, he's so talented, the actor, and I feel bad, but I don't know, man, it is what it is. Eastside Badger says old showrunners from Fear lost millions of viewers. They had to go. I mean, I can understand that, Eastside Badger. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know. Maybe AMC should like start like a streaming service like Disney Plus or something. Honestly, because at this point, like they're just gonna keep losing. I just think it's the fact. It's almost 2020. Things are changing. Epic Zombie Killer says funny Gimple also screwed over Tom by underutilizing Jesus. That's why he died. Yeah, I know about that too. Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, it's just Gimple just he just left The Walking Dead in a bad place, but I just don't know. I mean, a lot of characters weren't getting their screen time that they deserve. These actors deserve their screen time. That's all I can say. Dan says, I mean, Fear even had a selfie death. Like, come on, lol. Yeah, what was his name? Tom, I think. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. But what was it? Tom or something? In let's see, in Fear the Walking Dead season 5. I mean, that has to be like the stupidest death. I mean, they're yelling at him to come on, and he's even worse than Althea with the camera. He's just showing himself like just saying like this group does things for their people and all that. It was just so dumb. Like I don't know. It's really dumb. I mean, who can think of a better death than I think his name was Tom, but who can think of a better death than that selfie death? Selfie death. I mean, honestly, I think everyone here can think of something better. So thank you, Dan. Epic Zombie Killer says season 1 to 3. Yes. Do you mean? Oh, you mean Dave Erickson? Are you talking about Dave Erickson, Epic Zombie Killer? I don't I don't remember if he was a showrunner. No, I don't think he was a showrunner for those seasons, but maybe I'm wrong. Eastside Badger says TSDF will find out soon. Fear. Oh, you're talking about the Spoiling Dead fans. Fear is filming now. Yeah, exactly, Eastside Badger. I mean, as soon as Morgan appears with like a new set of clothing, or Lenny James, as soon as he's spotted on set with a different pair of clothing and, not acting like a walker, or maybe he's getting walker makeup and is seen limping or something, then people will know immediately. I mean, it's like the season 7 premiere where Glenn and Abraham's deaths got leaked, months beforehand. It's just not a good idea to have, you know, to stretch out a death over, 2 seasons. It's a bad idea. Epic Zombie Killer says, yeah, but I'm still excited for the Walking Dead movies and the third show. Yeah, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, I'm still somewhat excited, for them. I mean, it is something new. And I do want to find out what's going on with the CRM place. I don't think we've ever had that in a story, like we've never gotten that in the comics, and I want to see it through. Like, why was Rick gone for 7 years? Why are these CRM people? Why are they kidnapping people like Heath? I know a lot of people forget Heath, and honestly, I do too at times. But we need answers, and these people, Fear was supposed to give us some answers, but they didn't. So hopefully, the Rick movies and the third show are finally going to give us the answers, we deserve. And Eastside Badger says the judge ordered it. So you must be talking about Austin Emilio. I still don't understand. Like Austin must have like witnessed the stunt man's death or something. And I don't know. It's just that's interesting. But he was still. It's weird though. He was still allowed to film in season for the rest of season 8. So that's interesting. I can understand Eastside Badger if the judge ordered it, then Dwight Austin Emilio has to go in Fear. I can understand that, but they still have not they should have not put Morgan in. They should not have put Morgan in Fear the Walking Dead. They could have just had Dwight and let that be it. Epic Zombie Killer says that was the dumbest death I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, this is The Walking Dead. How does Glenn, a nice character, a good man, husband, get one of the most brutal deaths in the show? And you have this guy who we've known for like 2 episodes, and he gets a selfie death. Like, I just don't understand it. Which one feels more real? In their world, the Glenn one, obviously. Even though I didn't want to see that, it feels more real to their universe. But the selfie death is just dumb. Eastside Badger says the selfie death was silly, but what about Kelly in The Walking Dead? Walker grabbed her and Nada. Wait, what are you? Wait, what are you talking about, Eastside Badger? Please tell me that's not a spoiler. Because we don't cover spoilers on this channel or in this live stream. We do not cover channels, and I'm gonna just give you the benefit of the doubt and say that's not, a spoiler, hopefully, because I mean I don't really care about Kelly, but I'm just saying if it's not a spoiler, no harm done. But if it is, please don't do spoilers. Epic Zombie Killer says yes, and he says yes. Dave was showrunner from season 1 to 3. Then it changed to Andy and Ian. Oh, you're talking about in Fear the Walking Dead, right? Because I'm pretty sure Dave Erickson was in the main show, like he directed season 3, right, of the main show. But yeah. So as far as Dave Erickson in Fear the Walking Dead season 1 to 3, he did a really good job, I will admit. But his problem was slow, build up, slow stretching the story too much and killing off too many characters from season 1. He killed off. I mean, honestly, he killed off so many characters. He killed off Daniel's family. He killed off all the. I mean, almost. No, he didn't kill off the Clarks, but he killed off, Travis and his family. Like, it was just a bit too much. And honestly, and Auntie and Ian that's even worse. Epic Zombie Killer says, I'm also excited to see the princess just to see if she'll work. Honestly, the only way princess in the show will work is if she just has like a purple leather jacket and they cannot do the purple dyed hair. It has to be black or something. They got to make her realistic to that world, because I cannot handle a feather puffy jacket and a giant spear or a giant gun and purple hair. I just can't do it. Like that made me hate that part of the comics, honestly. And I hope we don't see that. Dan says, you watch, we're going to get a great trailer for Fear the Walking Dead season 6, then the season will be terrible. I'm calling it. Yeah, I mean, that's a good prediction, Dan, because I'm pretty sure that happened with season 4 and 5, right? I mean, their trailers, look pretty good, but then, you know, the whole season is just slow or, it's just not good entirely. I mean, trailers are very misleading, and I don't know, that stinks. I mean, it's true, but it's unfortunate. Eastside Badger says, no spoiler, it was silly that she didn't die. Oh, you mean when the walker almost grabbed her? Yeah, so as far as that, yeah, I mean, I don't know, that was a weird scene, but I'm glad there wasn't a spoiler, Eastside Badger. I wasn't accusing you or anything, I just wanted to make sure, because, yeah, I mean, I guess I just misinterpreted what that said, what you said. So yeah, I'm glad it's not a spoiler. I mean, honestly, in a way, I don't really care if Kelly dies, but I still want to be surprised when it happens. Because I think Jerry could die, or maybe even Magma, or Connie. So that anxiety, who's gonna die. I like that in the show. And Dan says, then it just cuts to the intro. Like what? Oh, you must be talking about when the walker was about to grab Kelly or touch her head, and then it just cut it to the intro. Yeah, I really did not like that, Dan. I mean, that was honestly like very fillerish. I mean, Kelly getting lost in the woods, I don't know what it did for the story, and I just don't understand it. And I don't know, she's not an interesting character. I mean, no like negative effects on the actor. I'm not insulting the actress. Um, sorry, the actress. But I just think that scene like could have worked out a little bit better. And oh, Epic Zombie Killer says season 4 was also a lie. It made us think Morgan and Madison were going to team up, and that didn't happen. Yeah, I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, it's one thing to say, like in the Walking Dead main show, they said, like you had Garrett voicing over saying to Rick, we're going to go to Washington with you and cure this thing. And, when you hear that, you think, oh, they're doing something different from the comics, but they didn't. They tricked us. and that's a good way to trick us. But a bad way to trick us is obviously that with Morgan and Madison not meeting up, because you create this level of excitement with the fans. That's like, imagine if Rick and Michonne were about to reunite or something. Imagine if season 10 showed a scene in the trailer where Rick and Michonne are like looking at each other and it didn't happen. That people would be pissed at that, and rightly so. And let's see, Big Zombie Killer, I'm talking about the trailer. Yeah, yeah, I understand what you're I got what you mean. Eastside Badger said, my guess is they were going to kill off Kelly and change their mind in the editing room. I mean, it's very possible, Eastside Badger. I don't know. I can't believe that it's been, a season and a half and, no one from Magna's group died. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I can understand changing your mind, but I don't know. Kelly's just not a character that I would change my mind whether or not to kill or kill off, or you know, not kill or kill. Because she's not a big important character, and I don't know really what they're doing with her. Dan says, "Yeah, Epic Zombie Killer. I agree with you. They fooled us so bad with that scene." Yeah, I'm thinking. Oh, you're talking about the Madison and Morgan thing. Yeah, I mean, everyone wanted to see that. I mean, they even hyped it up. They said that Madison was the female Rick Grimes. They said that she was the lead, and then they just kill her off. They only show her in flashbacks, and then they kill her off in the flashback. I mean, isn't that false advertising? I mean, I just don't understand it. Like, the actress, she didn't even want to leave. Kim Dickens. I'm willing to bet she didn't want to leave. And like, Scott Gimple just fired her like he did Carl. Like, why? Like, I don't understand it. I mean, yes, she wasn't a great character. She wasn't playing a great character, but it doesn't mean you should kill her off. It's just called right better. Oh, hey, Riptide reacts, says, "Hey guys, hope you all are having an awesome time here. Have a great night." Well, you don't have to go. Riptide reacts. I mean, like, we can still go on for, let's see, we're at 47 minutes now. We can go on for another, 30 minutes to an hour. It honestly depends, so you don't have to leave. I mean, if you really have to go, I understand. But if you think you're out of time, I just want to let you know that you're not. Epic Zombie Killer says, back in season 4 of Fear, I was attached to Althea's SWAT truck and I prayed that they wouldn't get rid of it, but in season 5, they give it to Virginia. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand, you know, like, if she's trying to be the female Negan, it's just not working. I mean, the SWAT truck, yeah, I mean, that is a good way of doing Fear the Walking Dead, because the main show, they had an RV, they had things, and a SWAT truck, like, that's a great way to, reinvent, or like, reinvent the show, because it's different from the main show. The main show never had a SWAT truck, but like, keeping that around, that's important to the story, but then they're just giving it to Virginia. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that just doesn't make sense. I mean, did they not have any ammo in it? Because I'm pretty sure with that SWAT truck you can kill all of our people. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Dan says hi Riptide, and Eastside Badger says Kim Dickens lost wait lost 8 million viewers. Any show would have canned her. Well, how did she lose 8 million viewers? Do you mean throughout the whole show or just by what she did? Because I mean, how is she to blame for losing 8 million viewers? I mean, shouldn't Dave Erickson have been blamed for that? I mean, he was the writer in Fear seasons 1 to 3. I don't know. I mean, was she solely responsible for that? Because I don't see how. I mean, I heard the actress is amazing. It's just that she wasn't given the right story, the right writing. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's tough to say. I mean, it's like, but they said that she was the main character, in like she was the next Rick Grimes. So why'd they kill her off? And Riptide Reacts says, I can't stay, just wanted to show some love. Well, thank you, Riptide Reacts. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry to hear that you can't stay, but, if you have something important to do, I understand completely. Glad you stopped by, and thank you for stopping last time, too. But yeah, glad you stopped by, and, appreciate it. And, yeah, Dan says, thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, thank you, Riptide, for stopping by. you have a great channel, and obviously better than mine. But you know, so yeah, appreciate you stopping by and keep doing Walking Dead videos because I know it's pretty slow right now with Walking Dead news, but you know, there's always something to talk about, I'm sure. So Epic Zombie Killer says, "Oh yes, the only way I'll watch season 6 is if they kill Virginia immediately." Yeah, yeah, Epic Zombie Killer. They need to do something with Fear. They need to have, you know, like a threatening villain. I mean, and I'm talking about a brutal villain too. I mean, Virginia is not brutal. Like the governor was brutal. Negan was brutal. Alpha is brutal. Can you guys think of any villain in Fear the Walking Dead who has been brutal? I'm not talking about, Logan was not brutal. Virginia wasn't. I'm trying to think of any villain. Who was that Native American guy in season 3? What was it? Like Taka or something? He was kind of brutal, but then they made him like a good guy, I guess, and then he just disappeared. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I can think about. So, yeah, that was weird. But I agree. Dan says, I hate Virginia, and I thought Logan was bad. Yeah, Logan was a terrible villain. I mean, if you can call him a villain, I just don't understand it. I mean, yes, in The Walking Dead, there are like great characters. Like no one is 100% good and 100% bad. I mean, even the bad characters have some good qualities. But I didn't understand what Logan was. Was he a weasel? Was he an antagonist? Was he a desperate man? I just don't understand it. So, oh, yeah. So thank you for saying that, Dan. Eastside Badger says her character never caught on. Should have seen the anti-Kim Dickens on chat boards. It was nuts. I don't think I've seen that. But yeah, I know that the actress and the character got a lot of hate, but people freaked out when she died. So I feel like they should have just given her, I don't know, like half a season or a season, just improve the character. Riptide Reacts says, thanks for the kind words, man. Well, you're very welcome, Riptide Reacts. I mean, like, I enjoyed watching your videos and, I appreciate you coming here. And it's very true what I said. So yeah, man, if you have to go, that's fine. Take care. Bye. And Epic Zombie Killer says, like Fear has had no strong villains, it'll never have a villain as big as the Governor or Negan or Alpha. Yeah, I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, I just don't understand it. Like in a story like The Walking Dead, you have the world, you need interesting characters, you need great villains, and you need a story to connect them both. The characters and the villains. And like they're just fighting over gasoline. Like season 4 was about helping people. Season 5 is just helping people and getting gasoline. Like that's it. Like I don't understand that. What about surviving? Like I mean, season 4 of the main show, it was surviving the flu, and the prison, the governor, and then getting separated, and then surviving the cannibals. Like the main show moves so fast, but Fear doesn't. It sticks to the same storyline. So yeah, thank you for the comment. I agree. Dan says Negan would hate Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, he absolutely would. He would. Oh my goodness. Yeah, please don't put Negan in Fear the Walking Dead because that would just ruin, like, not only the main show, but it would just ruin the character too. I mean, yeah, I mean, Negan, even though I'm conflicted how I feel about him, I agree with him there. He would agree with me there that Fear is just not good right now, and it just, yeah, he would hate it. Epic Zombie Killer says Alpha is a way better villain than Virginia, especially since it comes to a scary villain. Yeah, I don't understand why they can't do a scary villain in Fear. Like, I don't understand. They have all that they need, right? They have the writers, they have money, they have creative ideas. I mean, even the fans can help. Even fans can come up with, better things or, really good ideas. I just don't understand what's wrong, you know? Like, because, like, I value your guys' opinion and they should value our opinion. I'm not saying that they do everything we say, but they need to, respect what, the fans have to say in certain things, because at times we know more than they do. And let's see, Eastside Badger says Fear the Walking Dead is more what real apocalypse would be. The Walking Dead is more comic book apocalypse. Um, well, I don't know about that, Eastside Badger, because even Fear the Walking Dead is at times very comic booky. I mean, I don't know. It's just you said that's a real apocalypse in Fear, but the characters in, Fear the Walking Dead, they're only, they haven't really like killed any other survivors in a while. Like, they're just having a bunch of standoffs. And I get what you're saying. The Walking Dead is more comic book apocalypse, but like, why did the Fear characters go on a plane to rescue some kids that they never met? You know what I mean? In a plane they've never flown before. Like even that feels somewhat comic booky. You know? I mean, I get what you're saying, and you have a point. The Walking Dead is at times more comic booky, but I have to disagree. Fear the Walking Dead is not what a real apocalypse will be because, I mean, look what happened with Tom. I mean, the characters act stupid. He got a selfie death. He filmed himself as he fell off the bridge. Like, I wouldn't say that's comic booky, but it's definitely stupid. And I don't think anyone will react like that in our world. And I get what you're saying. I value your opinion, and at times you do make sense. You don't see a Negan or a Tiger. You don't see that in Fear the Walking Dead. But the thing is, it is an apocalypse. Some strange things do happen, and it's not the right kind of strange that they're doing. You know, like good villains. We need good villains, but they don't have that. You know, I mean, in the real world, you would have some serious bad villains, but we don't see that in Fear. So yeah, thank you for the comment. Epic Zombie Killer says all Fear villains are garbage. Martha, Logan, and now Virginia. Yeah, I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, like, how do you explain Martha? Like, she was a terrible villain. Like, I just did not, understand. She wanted to kill all the people that she could, or she wanted to show them that helping people was pointless. Like, she was one person. It just didn't make sense. Like Martha, Logan, and Virginia. Like, that's three terrible villains in a row. I don't even think The Walking Dead main show has had three terrible villains in a row. Like, I doubt that. Like, have they had two terrible villains in a row? Maybe, but not three. So Epic Zombie Killer says, like Rick and his group became killers. Not sure what you mean, Epic Zombie Killer. Like Rick and his group became killers. Oh, you must be saying like you must be implying that Rick's group did horrible things, but in a way they're still the good guys. While as in the Fear group, they're not killing anyone because in seasons 1 to 3 they were killing people to survive, but in Fear season 4 and 5 they weren't doing that. So yeah, that's a problem. You can't do that in a story. In a Walking Dead story, you can't have the main group you follow, not killing any threats. You can't do that. So yeah, I agree. Dan says Tom is the only character that when he died, I actually laughed, no joke. Honestly, when he died, Dan, like I was just like, what just happened? Like the camera was like rolling, like I'm just like, wait, like did he die? Did he fall out? Like I didn't understand what happened. Like I didn't laugh, but I can understand why he did. It's just like he was literally a character for like 2 episodes, and they were putting him in the spotlight, and then he just fell to the bridge and died a selfie death. It's just I don't understand what they were doing. Epic Zombie Killer says back in season 5 and 6. Oh, you mean you're talking about when Rick's group killed people to survive? Yeah, I agree. I don't understand what. Yeah, like that was good in The Walking Dead. That's when it was at its peak. Even though Rick's group are the good guys, they still did very anti-hero things. And yeah, and Epic Zombie Killer also says Rick was a savage in season 5 and 6. Don't forget 6, but a little bit too much if I had to say. Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, Rick was, oh my goodness, what was he like 30? He had like 30 on his kill count or something, like more than like every other character combined or something. Like he was going too far, but yeah. And Dan says I love season 5 Rick. Yeah, I mean I do too. Dan, he went a little bit overboard though, just a little bit, but yeah, I was kind of hoping other characters would go a little bit overboard during season 5, but looks like it was just Rick. But I mean, like that Rick, it was still better and more interesting and more entertaining than what we got in season 4 and 5 of Fear, because like if Rick was in Fear, like they would make him a pacifist like Morgan, and it's just I'm not saying I don't know, it's just don't like Rick being a murderer is more exciting to me and more interesting to watch than a pacifist Rick, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and Epic Zombie Killer says, like, that's why I love the original show, seeing the characters from season 1 evolve into strong. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, that's the thing. You have these civilians who apocalypse happens, they get tougher and they get stronger and closer together. But you know, like that's what makes it interesting. But in the fear group, they were tough in the beginning and then just got weaker. Like I don't understand that. So yeah, thank you for the comment. Uh, I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong. Giuseppe De Rosa, what's up? Hi, Giuseppe De Rosa. Glad you came. Thanks for coming. I'm just doing a Walking Dead live stream. You can put any comment or any question for me, and I will read it in this live stream and give you my thoughts on it. So yeah. And Dan says, hey, let's see. Hey, bud, do you need a moderator? I got you. I mean, I'm not sure yet. I haven't had issues, but I'll think about it, Giuseppe De Rosa. Thank you for offering. I'll think about it because I would say the only thing I would want deleted. I mean, there's really great guys here, so I don't think I'm gonna have that issue. But I will say that if there's any spoilers or someone like bashing another person, obviously their comment has to be deleted, and they have, no right to do that on this live stream. But everyone here has been amazing. I don't think I have to worry about that. So yeah, thank you. I'll think about it. So yeah, and let's see. Epic Zombie Killer says Carol was one of the best character transformations, going from an abused wife in season one to with long hair. Yeah, I agree. Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, Carol, I will admit, she has one of the most interesting arcs in the show. Like, I honestly did not know where she was going to go in season 1 to 3. I don't think I read the comics at that time, but then in season 4, I started noticing her, and then season 5, I'm like, oh, okay, so this is the character that's it's going to be. Unfortunately, they did make Carol a little weird back in season 6 to 7. Unfortunately, like she didn't want to be around people, and she kept leaving, but then was forced to kill. So I don't know. That was unfortunately, a weird situation. I mean, unfortunately, Carol did get gimpled a little bit, throughout the show. But I definitely think that Carol has been really interesting because honestly, I don't know how I feel about Carol sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes she is amazing. Sometimes she's like, what are you doing? And, but she feels like a real character, I'll admit. And, I definitely think that she's going to stay for a long time. And, the character in the show. And yeah, Giuseppe De Rosa says Carol has grown the most. Yeah, I would say she's definitely up on that list, Giuseppe De Rosa, as far as character development. Because yeah, Carol was a caring, abused wife in season one, and then learned after her losses, to get tougher and to do whatever it takes to survive. And because she didn't want to lose the people in her group, and then she became super tough like Rambo, but then decided to dial it back a bit because she believed she was losing her humanity, and then she decided to be happy and give Ezekiel and Henry a chance, and then now it looks like she's getting dark again. So yeah, and Epic Zombie Killer says, well, mainly it's implied that Morgan was rubbing off on her. Yeah, I can understand that, but I mean, I can kind of understand that, but it still doesn't make sense why she left Alexandria. Like, wouldn't staying in Alexandria be safer than just leaving? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, and plus Carol wanted to die, so I don't understand. Like, was she becoming a pacifist in season 6 and 7? Because I didn't get that vibe. Dan says, I would love a Carol versus Alpha scene, even though I'm not 100% sure that we're going to see that. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I mean, I really thought we were going to see that in the first half, but obviously the trailer was misleading, and they tricked us. We didn't get to see Carol versus Alpha, and we're probably not going to see that though. Although I really hope Angela Kang will after if Alpha dies sometime in the second half, which she probably will. I hope Kang says something like, if there was a versus, a death battle or something, Carol would have won or something. Maybe they could say Carol would start biting, doing whatever it took, or just something give us some details. But yeah, thank you for the comment. Giuseppe De Rosa says, will we actually see 3 Rick movies, and what do you think they would call them? Oh, I don't know. That's a very good question, Giuseppe De Rosa. So, as far as will we see 3 Rick movies, I will say no. I can see one movie happening, but A second one is I'm really unsure about that. So a first Rick movie, I would say has a let's give it a 70% chance, and then a second movie, I would say a 40% chance, and then a third one, I would say like 10% chance. So it just gets lower after that first movie. I just don't see how it might go. And what do you think they will call them? Well, they gotta call it The Walking Dead, because that's what, The World Beyond did, that's what Fear did, and that's what the main show has. So they're gonna call it Walking Dead something, maybe Walking Dead Rick Chronicles, or like maybe it's gonna be like, Rick Tape 1 or something. I don't know, just, they gotta call it The Walking Dead because as we've seen with the third show that they're doing, The Walking Dead World Beyond, whatever Walking Dead property they do, they are not going to call it by a different name. It's always going to have The Walking Dead in the title. So I'm really not sure what they're going to call them. But I wouldn't say it could be like called The Walking Dead Lost or Lost The Walking Dead, like just something like that. So yeah, thank you for the question. Dan says, I hope they don't just do The Walking Dead. Wait, I hope they don't just do the Walking Dead movie though. I'm not sure what you mean, Dan. Do you mean like I hope they don't just do one movie? Like you want to see all three? So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Giuseppe De Rosa says you can just call me. Oh, De Rosa. That way it's easier. Yeah, thank you. I will. Yeah, I'll remember that. And he says everyone struggles to say my name. Yeah, sorry I mispronounced it. So yeah, De Rosa. Thanks, and I'll try that. Epic Zombie Killer says even Daryl has had an amazing transformation. I can kind of feel season 1 Daryl in season 10. Daryl is a little bit, but he's not the same person anymore. Well, yeah, it makes sense, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, Daryl has had a pretty good transformation throughout the show, but it's definitely not on Carol's level, and I don't know, like, I think it might be even lower than Michonne's. It's just that Daryl has had an issue in season 6 to 8 as far as his character development. Because yeah, Daryl was a mess in around those seasons, and unfortunately, he was gimplified. So yeah, so as far as like his development and not the same person anymore, it makes sense why he's not. And I'm definitely liking Daryl more now, but it was a long road, to get to. So DeRosa says, love the channel, but the only thing that needs work is the audio, and you will be great. Yeah, thank you, DeRosa. I definitely need to work on my audio. I've been thinking about getting a microphone or, just getting something to improve my audio. I'm really sorry, guys, that the audio is not great. I use my laptop, audio, and yeah, I'm sorry about that. I do want to like get a microphone or just something to make the audio sound, better for you guys. I'm trying to figure out what to do. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Dan says I want to see Rick again. I miss him leading the show and trash talking Negan. Yeah, yeah, Dan, I miss that too. I mean, who's trash talking Negan anymore? I mean, I guess Beta or Dare was trying to, but yeah, I miss Rick too in the show. And I don't know. The, the Walking Dead main show, if it ends at season 12, then I could see why we didn't really need Rick that much. But if it goes on for even longer, then yeah, we need Rick. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's just tough. But yeah, thank you for the comment. De Rosa says Morgan on Fear is such a waste. Yeah, I agree, De Rosa. I mean, I don't understand why couldn't Gimple have promised Lenny James that he was going to get the screen time he deserved in season 9 when Rick left? I mean, like he was planning that, right? So why didn't he just tell him? He could have said like you're going to finally get, the screen time because putting you in fear is a mistake. I mean there's issues with it, and plus why would Morgan just leave and just never come back? I don't know, it's just odd, you know. And De Rosa says Morgan should be on the original show. Yeah, I agree, De Rosa. I mean, there's so few characters now in the main show. We're losing pretty much everyone, or we've pretty much lost everyone. So Morgan would definitely help the show, the main show. But I don't know, it doesn't seem to be helping Fear. But unfortunately, he can't come back. It stings. De Rosa says you only have 28 subs. This channel is underrated. You deserve more. Well, thank you, De Rosa. I appreciate it. And you know, you're always welcome here. If you wanna comment or attend my live streams, I appreciate it. And when I hopefully when I get a mic or some type of microphone or something to make my audio sound better, I'll get more subs. But yeah, it's not easy. But thank you, I appreciate it. Dan says, just think if Morgan was on the original series, he would clear those whispers. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I mean, yeah, I mean with Henry dead, I mean yeah, he would have gone clear mode again. I mean, like to be fair, like Morgan, he needs to find a balance. Like he's either really pacifist or just really crazy. It would be nice if he could just find a balance. But yeah, clear Morgan would. It's better than pacifist Morgan. So yeah, I mean, I just don't know what they're doing. I mean, are they gonna have Morgan go on clear mode? Because I was waiting for Morgan to go in clear mode in season 4 or 5 of Fear, but that never happened. So are they saving it for season 6? I just don't know. Epic Zombie Killer says Q&A. I agree. Morgan should have died in season 8 instead of Carl because then Fear would have been better than it is right now. I mean, let's see. I don't know if Fear would have been better, but the main show definitely would have been better. I mean, just imagine if Carl, like a 23-year-old Carl, was still alive and he was the main character in the show. I mean, that would be cool. Man, I would love to see that. But unfortunately we can't. De Rosa says, "How do you feel about Super Video's YouTube channel?" I I really like it. I like his channel. I try to watch his gaming videos about the Walking Dead Telltale game, and I tried to attend his live streams. Unfortunately, he doesn't respond to any comments like after a video is posted. At least I don't know. I tried, but he doesn't do that. But he's a great Walking Dead YouTuber, and yeah, I just uh, but yeah, I feel alright by him. He's alright, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. Not much else to say. And Dan says, and we would still have Carl. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I mean, having Carl would just be amazing. Like, I mean, what if Enid died and Carl was the main character, but obviously he wouldn't be the leader. At least, I mean, maybe he would, but we don't know. And he would want revenge for Enid's death. I mean, that would have been interesting. I don't know. It's just I don't understand. Having Carl would have been amazing. I mean, if Carl told Magna back when we met her, like if he put the hat on and said, "My name's Carl, Carl Grimes," like oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. But the scene with Judith, it worked well. I mean, really good, but it just wouldn't have been perfect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, thank you for the comment. Let's see if I can try to go a little faster. Epic Zombie Killer says, "Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 DVD might be my final Fear DVD." Honestly, Epic Zombie Killer, I'm surprised you're getting it. I mean, I'm not getting it. But yeah, Dan says, I don't know if I'm gonna get it yet. I mean, I wouldn't get it, honestly. I mean, I don't think it's worth it. Let's see. De Rosa says, you guys are buying Fear DVDs. Yeah, I mean, it's a collection. It's what they want to do. It's their decision. But honestly, I don't buy them. I mean, Fear the Walking Dead is, it's good, but now it's just not good, and I don't think it's worth, DVDs, honestly. Epic Zombie Killer says, yeah, and I hate Pacifist Morgan. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've had too much Pacifist Morgan. We saw some of Clear Morgan, but I feel like we need to get, like, an in-between Morgan. Like, how hard is it to make him a character who kills sometimes, but doesn't kill other times? Like, it's like a light switch, on and off. Can't there be a middle area? DeRosa says, oh wait, hold on. Let's see. DeRosa says I have seasons 1 to 8 of the original Walking Dead on DVD. Wow, that's a impressive collection. Yeah. And Eastside Badger says my suggestion is watch everything because in 2 years most likely all the Walking Dead will be gone. Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, I just want to see the Walking Dead, through. I want to see it end just to once. Fear, from beginning to end, the main show beginning to end, because I want to, figure out if it was, really a good story, overall. And yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy if 2 years The Walking Dead was gone. That'd be crazy, but it's possible. Dan says, yeah, I know, but after season 5, I'm probably not going to get it. Yeah, Dan, I can understand. I mean, Fear season 5 was just mediocre. I mean, like any one of us can write better than that. It's not what the fans deserve, and the actors deserve better too. Epic Zombie Killer says, Eastside Badger, Walking Dead as a brand will never die. Well, I mean, that's true, Epic Zombie Killer, but the thing is, they are kind of oversaturating the market a bit with Walking Dead, and it doesn't seem like there's enough demand for it. I don't know. I'm like not seeing a lot of reactions on, YouTube about these things. Like, I don't know, there's just not enough buzz, I think. De Rosa says, "Do you like Movie Idol?" Yeah, I do, De Rosa, but he's a big Walking Dead channel. I watch his videos all the time, but he's a big Walking Dead channel, and obviously I'm just a small fish in the pond. But yeah, man. But yeah, I do like his things, and he does amazing Walking Dead videos. Dan says, "Love Movie Idol's channel." Yeah, I agree. It's just that sometimes he doesn't cover The Walking Dead, and I try to focus directly on The Walking Dead. So if he releases something that isn't The Walking Dead, I don't watch it. And Epic Zombie Killer says, "It's because I'm a completionist. I have a collection." I mean, yeah, that's fine, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, I'm one too. I mean, I have almost every issue of the comics. I mean, I spent a lot of money and, man, like tons of time trying to find, certain comics online, ones I don't have. But yeah, so, yeah. And De Rosa says, "You should check out Study the Craft. He's a Walking Dead YouTuber and goes deep into The Walking Dead's writing. Very underrated channel." Uh, yeah, I've seen him, DeRosa, and I do like his channel, and I do watch him. Unfortunately, he at times it comes off like he's defending Gimple all the time and the writers, and I'm sorry, but I disagree with him on that. I mean, it's his channel, but I do disagree with him a lot because sometimes he defends certain characters' deaths or certain slow stories like Oceanside or, like Carl's death or, sometimes like he describes how a character's death is necessary to the story. But honestly, like when I look at it, like even though the writing, like that's what you do in writing, it doesn't translate well into the season. So yeah, but thank you for saying that. Epic Zombie Killer says, "Yeah, it's just that I grew up with the show, been with it since I was 12. So since 12, so that would make you around 21 years old, I guess." Yeah, I've been around the show. I've been watching the show since around there, since season 1 actually. I was like, oh my goodness, how old was I? I don't know. I was like maybe 13 or 14. But yeah, and I agree. I want to see the show end. I have to see it through. I just love it. And Dan says, "I was 10 when I started Walking Dead, no joke." Wow, yeah, that was pretty young. Yeah, like I said, I started around maybe 13 or 14. Um, but yeah, DeRosa says, "Who would you say is the biggest main Walking Dead channel?" For me, it's Trev's Chan too. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. It's got to be Trev's Chan too, or Movie Idol. It's got to be one of them. And yeah, I mean, I watch their videos too, and sometimes they take one of my comments and put it in their videos, which is nice. It's nice that they're not so big that like they always miss my question. So yeah, and I do watch their videos, and I do watch Trev's videos, and yeah, they're really good. And Eastside Badger says, "I hear you, Epic. I don't want it to end either." Well, I mean, like, do you mean like the franchise Eastside Badger, or do you mean like the main show? Because like, in a way, like I do want to see it end. You know what I mean? Not yet, but I do want to see like the show end. Like Fear the Walking Dead, it's got to end. They fell flat with the spin-off. And the main show, it's got to end in a few years, I think, or at least in a couple more years. Like I don't know, season 12, 13, just something like that, because I just want to see the story conclude, and because the actors got to be getting tired too. I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic, but yeah, I mean, if The Walking Dead ends good, I mean, it can still go down as an amazing show. Epic Zombie Killer says, "Yeah, I've been watching Trev's Chan 2 since season 2 of the show. Awesome channel." Yeah, I don't remember when I started watching Trev's Chan 2. I think, let me think, it was around sometime. You know what? Yeah, I think it was around in the comics when Glenn died. So it was around like season 2 of the main show. So yeah, what a coincidence. DeRosa says, "Are you going to add a profiles pictures on your YouTube?" I am thinking about it, DeRosa. I mean, if you go back to my older videos, you guys will probably find a picture of me. Well, you guys probably know what I look like if you go back to my first videos. But as far as a profile picture, I do want to do that, but make my channel look more interesting. But I actually like I don't know what picture to choose. I don't know what will be a right picture. And Dan says definitely Trev's Chan 2. DeRosa says, oh no, sorry, I already read that. And Epic Zombie Killer says 22 actually. That's really cool. Sorry, I guess yeah, guess I got your name wrong. Maybe I said 21 and it's actually 22. Epic Zombie Killer says, which is funny. I was 17 when Fear started. Let's see, it was what 4 years ago, so I was like maybe 18, 19, yeah, something like that. Yeah, and DeRosa says we got small channels like you and super videos. Then we got the medium channels like PT channel, Study the Craft, and then we got the big channels like Trev's Chan, Movie Idol, and Make a Pass Presents. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. I mean, whether it's small, medium, or big, we all love Walking Dead, and we're not afraid to criticize it for certain moments when they mess up, and they do mess up. But we also, praise and say how we're excited for it. So yeah. And oh, DeRosa says almost forgot Dan's reviews. Yeah, that's true. I'm not gonna say I'm not sure where he would rate in that category. I guess like maybe somewhere but like maybe close to the middle. He's definitely bigger than my channel. Yeah. And DeRosa says there's just so many channels. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I started DeRosa, my Walking Dead channel, because if there's a lot of channels for it, I mean, yes, like it makes me very similar, but the demand is there. So I guess that's why I started my own channel. There's a lot of activity going on, and I just want to get my foot in the door. And Epic Zombie Killer says Make a Path presents Fem Pheno Minal channel. I'm not sure what you mean, Epic Zombie Killer. Eastside Badger says PT channel is great, but he does spoilers. Yeah, I agree, Eastside Badger. I mean, I've seen some of PT channels. Also, doesn't the Zoostuber, like, whatever happened to him? Like, he does spoilers too. And I used to watch him. He used to be one of my three main Walking Dead channels that I watch. But yeah, as far as PT channel, I try to watch his videos, but he has a lot of spoilers, so I kind of just, forget about it. And Dan says, I love Ronnie's videos. Yeah, me too. And he says, I don't watch PT anymore because of spoilers. Yeah, same, Dan. Since PT channel is covering more spoilers, I decided to take a break from him. And DeRosa says the smaller ones are just newer and are growing. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. Yeah, that's true. And even the small channels can offer, some fun things here and there. Eastside Badger says Ronnie doesn't cover The Walking Dead much more, does he? I mean, he's a busy guy, but I will say Eastside Badger, yeah, Ronnie Hayes does not cover The Walking Dead as much as he used to, but I can understand why he wants to grow his channel and do other topics, but I mean, there's just so much. Like, he's into Predator and horror movies, like other things like that, and it's just so much to keep track of. I mean, I'm still waiting on his comic, like, cover breakdowns. Like, because the comic's over, I still want to see those cover breakdowns, but it's been a while. Dan says, no, unfortunately. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, you're talking about Eastside Badger. Epic Zombie Killer says, even me, I'm a Walking Dead channel. Yeah, I mean, like, even if we're small, like, there's something wrong with that. DeRosa says, man, after when The Walking Dead ends, I wonder what all these channels are going to do, lol. Well, DeRosa, we're still gonna, like, I'm still gonna cover Fear, The World Beyond, but yeah, I mean, the comics are over, it's just, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not sure. It really depends. Maybe like video games or something. Like, I could think like do video games, but like all the Walking Dead properties have to be like completely done. So yeah. And let's see what else. Oh, the Rosa says, oh yeah, that's right, Epic Zombie Killer. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah. And Dan says, I'm going to have no choice but to prepare for that. Yeah, I mean, when The Walking Dead ends, we're all gonna have to prepare for that. I mean, look what happened with the comics. Some people were ready, some people weren't, and it just ended. And Kirkman didn't say anything about continuing it or doing a sequel series, nothing. So, I know it might be hard to see that, but it's gonna happen to the shows eventually, you know, at some point. But yeah, he said Badger says I will sub. Okay, He's Epic Zombie Killer says he's around, but he's more into stock footage stuff nowadays. The Zeus Tuber is. Huh. I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't seen much activity either. There was also a YouTuber by the name I think his name was the Talking Pineapple, and he used to do Walking Dead channels, and I supported him a lot too, like years ago. But he just, I don't know, it went dark or something. The channel's still there, but I don't know what happened to him. He hasn't responded to any of my comments, and it's been years. So yeah. And let's see. Thanks, Eastside Badger. And DeRosa says, "Do you watch Star Wars?" Well, yes and no. So I've seen the prequel movies and I've seen the main trilogy and I have seen let's see, it's episode 7, right? That came out years ago. But I have not seen episode 8. I heard it was bad. And I heard about The Mandalorian and I was thinking about watching that, but my schedule is kind of crazy right now with the end of the year, so I just kind of don't have time for it. And let's see. Thank you for the question. The Rosa says The Walking Dead is so popular, people make YouTube channels talking about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty, De Rosa. You know, I made a Walking Dead channel. I mean, I made a channel just to talk about The Walking Dead, honestly. You know, I mean, I just wanted to voice my opinion. And yeah, so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with starting, your own channel. Especially for a certain main topic. The Walking Dead is my favorite, story, ever. And Epic Zombie Killer says, I'll BRB. Okay, man. Well, whenever you get back. Alright, so Dan Review says, I just, I, I just can't get into Star Wars ever since episode 7 and 8, unfortunately. I mean, I liked episode 7, Dan, but episode 8, I heard a lot of bad things about it, and I just decided not to watch it. Also, honestly, Disney is just, it's so big right now. I mean, I'm not going to get too much into it, but they are just so massive as a company. And I feel like, I don't know, it's a little unnecessary for me to go see what they have, just like, why bother? Let's see. DeRosa says the prequel were the best. I guess you're talking about the 3 prequels? I don't know. I didn't really like that much. Let's see. Eastside Badger says Mandalorian is pretty good though. Watched all 5 episodes today. Wow, glad you had. I'm surprised you had. I mean, glad you had time. I can't, man. I can't watch 5 episodes, on a Sunday. But yeah, um, but yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about it. But the end of the year is just so busy for me right now. DeRosa says, for sure, Rick Grimes is my favorite character of all time. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of my favorite, but honestly, I prefer Glenn just because, like, I related to him more, and I think it would have been a nice transition from the comics if he lived. And Dan agrees, and DeRosa says, what if Disney bought The Walking Dead? Oh my gosh, I've joked about this with people I've known, or, other people I know, and yeah, I mean, that would be crazy if they bought, The Walking Dead. I mean, would Judith be a Disney princess? I mean, oh my goodness. But honestly, like, they own so much. I mean, let's see, they own. I thought The Mandalorian was like, yeah, they could, but how would they make The Walking Dead like appropriate? For like in a Disney way. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, they could, but oh my goodness, that would be. I don't know if that would. I think that would be a nightmare, honestly. There also says The Walking Dead is too dark for Disney. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, well, Fear the Walking Dead isn't. Fear the Walking Dead is not too dark for Disney, but the main show definitely. The World Beyond series, maybe not too dark for Disney. From what we've seen so far. But yeah, I mean, Disney, has a lot of properties, but I don't think they're willing to go somewhere too dark. And honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, do they have to own everything? Let's see. DeRosa says, what's the news about the Walking Dead movies that came out? Well, DeRosa, I heard that the actress for Jadis or Anne, Polly McIntosh, I heard she said that the movies were still happening, and like she was going to be in it. I think they heavily implied that she was going to be in it, as well as obviously Rick. But we still have no news on Heath. And honestly, if Heath does not like get a mention or doesn't appear, I'm just gonna be disappointed because I'm like we've been waiting like 3 years to find out what happened to Heath, and nothing. So yeah, thank you for the question. Epic Zombie Killer says, my opinion, Alexandria is the most iconic community. It's been around for the longest out of all the others. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. It's just that, man, it's crazy that like Aaron, Barbara, and Scott are like the last Alexandrians left. You know what I mean? Like that were there before Rick's group showed up. Like that is just crazy. I mean, I don't know, maybe you guys know, but how many people were in Alexandria before Rick's group showed up? You know, when they showed up at the gates, like that's crazy. Um, so yeah, thank you. And DeRosa says Heath was a great character. He's like a Black Glenn. Um, well, I kind of have to disagree with you there, DeRosa. I mean, in the comics, Heath was not a big character, but I understand why you think that. Like, yeah, Heath was supposed to be like the black version of Glenn, and it's just that he was in it for just a little bit, and then he just left. So that really hurts my liking of Heath in the show just because he's gone. It's kind of like Maggie, he's gone. So I don't know. And yeah, thank you for the comment. Dan says, wait? Why wouldn't Jadis be in the movies though? Like it shouldn't even be a question. Oh, yeah, I agree, Dan. I mean, if Jadis wasn't in the movies, that would just be weird. But it's the actors. I mean, you never know if there's a conflict with the schedule or something, or like there's a problem because you never know. There could always be a problem with something. So yeah, thank you for the question. De Rosa says Scott should get more screen time. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he lasted this long. I mean, in season 12, could they make him a main character? I mean, they're gonna be, so few characters left in season 12. So, I mean, I have been liking what they've been doing with Scott, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like it's funny. Like he would have died back in season 5, like, but now he's in season 10. Like, yeah, he's a very minor character, and yeah, props to the actor for sticking this long because he's okay with being a minor character for this long. I mean, that is loyalty. I don't remember his name, but his last name is Green, I think. And so the actor for Scott, thank you for your loyalty to this show. Just being a minor character for multiple seasons, like that's loyalty, man. I wish the actor for Heath had that, but he didn't. Epic Zombie Killer says also Alexandria is my favorite community in the show. Yeah, I agree, Epic Zombie Killer. I think like they did a great job with Alexandria as far as like the location, but they could have done so much better with the community, like the people in the community. Aaron was fine, but a lot of the other characters were just not as good as they were in the comic. And oh wow, DeRosa asks, "Who's the worst Walking Dead character?" Oh wow, that's a really tough question, DeRosa. I mean, there's so many I can name up. I mean, okay, so TV Nicholas, Nicholas in Alexandria who killed himself and almost got Glenn killed. He is definitely one of the worst, as far as characters in the show. And this is talking about the main show, not in Fear the Walking Dead. But I would say like he's one of the worst characters in the show, and I really don't know who else is, as far as the worst character, but he's definitely up in that list. That's he's all I can think of at the moment. But thank you for the question. DeRosa asked, un who's the most overrated villain? Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, now this might be. I hope you guys don't like have a huge problem with this, but I would say like as far as like overrated villain, I mean, the only one I can think of is Negan, and I'm not saying he was a terrible villain. I'm just saying like they overhyped him like big time, and he wasn't like too much. Like he was a villain for a little bit, but then they took it away and made Simon the villain. But that's just for the main show. As far as Fear, like the most overrated villain, I mean, it's got to be Logan or Virginia. Like I just don't understand, what they were doing with them. Dan says Beth and Lori all the way. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Dan. But I guess I don't understand. You're probably talking to someone else. Um, Epic Zombie Killer says DeRosa. It's got to be Gareth. Hmm. I don't think. No, I. Oh, right. As far as overrated, no, I really like Gareth as a villain. I think I'm not saying overrated is bad, but yeah, I'm just saying like overrated is like they hyped it more than they were supposed to. DeRosa says Negan has such a screen presence. The only character that gave me that feel of what was Rick. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that Negan was a bad villain. I'm just saying like when they brought Negan like into the show, they overhyped it, but then they did bottle episodes, without Negan, and then they had him just joking around, and then they made Simon the villain for season 8. So I don't know, I just didn't understand that. So that's why I would say that Negan is pretty overrated. Let's see. DeRosa says Garrett didn't get much time. Yeah, but we still remember him being a villain. And DeRosa says, is it fair to say Ezekiel's character has downgraded? No. Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. So, yeah, sorry. As far as Ezekiel's character being downgraded, it kind of has. Ezekiel, I think that Ezekiel should have died back in the Pike lineup. So, unfortunately, yeah, I think it is fair to say he's been downgraded. He's not really interesting and he hasn't got a lot of screen time. Alright, so thank you for the question. I'm going to try and go faster with these. Epic Zombie Killer, also in real life, he's the husband of Sonequa Martin Green, aka Sasha. Yeah, I know Epic Zombie Killer. I just didn't remember his first name. The real life actor for Sky. But I knew that much. So yeah. And I'm talking about the actor for Scott. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Eastside Badger says, good night, guys. Oh, alright, Eastside Badger. Well, thank you for your questions, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm not sure when I'm going to do my next live stream. I don't think it's going to be the next Sunday, a week from today. But thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. And Dan says, I gotta go too, unfortunately. Well, I understand, Dan. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I understand you probably have like school or something to get ready for. And yeah, I don't want to keep you. And good luck, Dan and Badger. Yeah, you guys, if you have to go, it's all right. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. And DeRosa says Logan was such a crappy villain. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Logan, I don't even know if he was a villain. I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, was he a villain? I mean, or was he a weasel? Because he felt like a Gregory to me more, not a Simon. You know what I mean? Like Simon, I would be terrified if he was in the middle of a road with people with guns pointing at me. But Logan, no, no. DeRosa says also Martha. Yeah, I agree. She was a terrible villain. I mean, she was a dirty woman, you know, who had like one walker on a, weird neck stick, and, just use that against people. That was so dumb. You could just have a gun. I mean, it couldn't be hard to kill the walker and then kill her if you had to. And let's see, Eastside Badger says, you too, Giuseppe. Not sure what you mean. Let's see, Dan says, thanks, I'll be posting a video at about 5 tomorrow. Let's see, 5 tomorrow. Oh, okay. Well, I'll I'll be at work, so I'll watch it later that night. But yeah, thanks for telling me, Dan. I look forward to seeing what it is. Probably, I think you said you're doing movies on Monday, so I mean maybe that's not it, but I'm looking forward to it. Epic Zombie Killer says Negan is one of the few characters where a story is pretty much the same as the comics. Yeah, that's true, Epic Zombie Killer, but it just didn't translate well. Like like they made Negan scary, and then they just made him jokey, and then they filled season 7 with bottle episodes, and then they had him giving Rick's group multiple chances, and saying things like he wants to get Daryl like or kill him, and then he says like no, I want to take him, and he constantly compliments people in Rick's group, and he captures Carl, Sasha, Daryl, like he's just capturing people in Rick's group, and then they just get out somehow, and like I don't know, it's just I mean it's just that it just didn't fit well, in the show. I'm just saying like yeah, his story was pretty much the same. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the transition, didn't work the same way. So thank you for the comment. DeRosa says the first time I saw Ezekiel, I was so hyped, but now it's yeah, I kind of agreed, DeRosa. I mean, I was excited to see the kingdom, and it just seems like Ezekiel is just this depressed character, and like if Jerry dies in the season 10 mid-season premiere, like that's just gonna make him more depressed because like Jerry is like one of the very few kingdom people left. So I just don't know. Like, are they gonna keep making him depressed? Dan says, thanks for the awesome stream. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for coming. I mean, I know the audio isn't great, and plus it was late too. You guys had to wait like 50 minutes or something. But yeah, man, I appreciate you stopping by, and thank you. So yeah, take care, Dan. And DeRosa says Simon versus Alpha. Ooh, that could be an interesting one. I think Simon would win. I would have to say Simon on that one because I would say DeRosa. I would say Alpha is an interesting villain, but as far as a fist fight, I definitely think Simon will win. You know. So yeah, thank you for the verses. Epic Zombie Killer says, yes, I made a video about how much I hated Martha. I don't think I saw that video, Epic Zombie Killer, but yeah, I mean, I could just imagine 10 minutes of you just ranting about Martha, and I don't blame you. I mean, she was a terrible villain. I mean, I don't know. Did someone see Batman v Superman and thought, the whole Martha thing was like, it was so important, did someone decide to make a villain off of it? I don't know, it's just weird. And DeRosa says Dan should do live streams. He's been thinking about it, DeRosa, but we I don't want to do it at the same time he does it. So like if Dan does a live stream on Sunday nights, then I don't want to do them as well on Sunday nights. Plus, it's hurting my schedule too doing them Sunday nights. So I got to figure out when works best for me on live streams. DeRosa says season 7 and 8 should have been one season. Yeah, I absolutely agree, DeRosa. I mean, you could have trimmed out Oceanside, the helicopter stuff. It was interesting, but like, did you have to focus so much on the garbage people? And I don't know. It's just plus they were expensive too. Like season 7 and 8, there were so many locations, so many characters, and fans were getting lost. It just and characters like Morgan and Paul weren't getting any screen time, and the actors were upset and they wanted to leave. So yeah, I mean, it was just a mess. But yeah, I agree. Thank you. DeRosa says it was too stretched, didn't feel original. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's crazy. Like they stretched. Let me see. They stretched like 20. Let's see. Yeah, they stretched 26 or 27 issues into 32 episodes. Like that doesn't work. That just can't work like that. Each episode needs one or two issues from the comics. That's how it works. So yeah. Um, yeah. Thank you for the comment. And Dan says I might be doing a live stream at the end of the year, hopefully. Well, Dan, whenever you do it, I will be there, or at least as best I can. It depends. Hopefully, I get a idea when it starts because I want to be there on time and show my support. But yeah, whenever you do that live stream, Dan, I'll try to make sure it doesn't conflict. Like if you want to do a live stream at the last day of the year, I won't do a live stream on that day as well because I want people to come to yours. So you know what I mean? Like yeah. So give us both a fair chance. The Walking Dead, it's for all of us. So yeah. Epic Zombie Killer says like it makes sense due to Ezekiel losing pretty much everything. Shiva, Henry, the Kingdom, and Carol. Yeah, I understand that Epic Zombie Killer, but like making a depressed character is just not that interesting. Like, and if Jerry dies too, then what's Ezekiel's story? He has cancer too. Like, they need to do something with his story. I mean, is he just gonna get out of his depression or not? Like, it's been building up too long. I guess what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I kind of agree. Thank you. DeRosa says, "What if the governor was a savior? He would probably, but you would probably try to take control of the saviors." Oh, you mean if? Yeah, he would have a problem with how Negan was doing things. I mean, like it doesn't make sense. Like the governor was kill first or shoot first, ask questions later, but Negan, kept just asking questions and things like that. Like he wasn't really trying to be a villain. Like after the whole lineup thing, like like the governor, he was threatening in every scene, whereas Negan, he was really only threatening in one scene, or maybe more, but pretty much one scene. But yeah, the governor would definitely not tolerate what Negan's doing, and he would have a problem with it, like Simon. I mean, the governor lost 8 men and like yelled at his people like that they had to kill Rick's group back in season 3, if you guys remember. but Negan loses like 100, and he just like plays pool or does this. It's like I don't know. It just doesn't work. Dan says, but what Dan says, but you take care, guys. Oh, you're saying bye. Yeah, bye, Dan. I'll see you on for your video tomorrow, sometime tomorrow night, hopefully. So yeah, man, take care. Bye. DeRosa says, try using the Xbox mic or PS4 mic. See if that works. Just a suggestion. Well, thank you, DeRosa. I'll certainly try to throw around some ideas about how I can make my audio sound better. Because you guys have to listen to this, and I'm really sorry my audio is just not as good as it could be. I want to improve that, and you know I've just been having some trouble, but yeah, I definitely want to keep trying. So thank you. DeRosa also says, if I had to choose a season for The Walking Dead to end in, I would choose season 8. That would have been the end of The Walking Dead if they really wanted it. I mean, that's tricky. I mean, season 8 was the second worst season in the show, so, and it was followed by the worst season, so I don't know if really it would have been a good idea to end it there, but I can understand why you say that because, I mean, Carl was dead, and, there were actors leaving or wanted to do other things, so yeah, I can understand why you would think season 8 would be the end of the series, but I mean, I can understand that, yeah. It's definitely, like, if it ended there, it wouldn't be the worst thing, because if The Walking Dead ended at season 9, everyone would be like, well, wait, what about the Whisperers, So, yeah, I mean, season 8 doesn't really leave questions, exactly. Well, but season 8 did leave the whole Maggie versus Rick question, because she's like, we're gonna show him. So, yeah, thank you for saying that. And Epic Zombie Killer says also that so dumb Morales should have went back and joined Rick's group again. I don't know about that, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, Morales leaving the Saviors and joining Rick, I'm not sure, but as far as why they brought him back and killed him off, yeah, that was dumb. Um, I mean, I just don't understand the whole point of Morales returning. Plus, he said he was going to Alabama and then he just went to Virginia. I mean, that's like Morgan saying he's going to go to New York and then he arrives in Texas in Fear. It's like, if a character says they're going to go this direction, how did they go in this completely different direction? I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for the comment. DeRosa says Morales coming back and Carl's death are the two most frustrating things ever in the show. Look, I'm okay with Morales coming back, but they freaking killed him so quick. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. I mean, that was just so ridiculous. Plus, that made me dislike Daryl even more. You know, I mean, I just don't understand why they did that. Why did Gimple, do that? Like, I don't know. Let's see. DeRosa says worst Walking Dead season for me was season 7. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. I mean, season 7 had so many problems. I mean, the spoiled premiere. I mean, the premiere was spoiled, and the way they did it, like, it was brutal, yes, but it still didn't make a whole lot of sense. And there was a lot of filler episodes. There were too many characters, too many communities. There was slow pacing, and bad CGI too. I mean, just how can you have these in 16 episodes, how can you have just all these horrible things happening? And I don't mean to the story. I mean to the writing, to the characters, to the CGI, quality, effects, everything. Just, ugh, it's not good. But yeah, I agree. Season 7 was the worst season of The Walking Dead. Epic Zombie Killer says, I mean, season 7 and 8 are still watchable. Fear season 5 is not watchable. Yeah, I mean, you have a point there, Epic Zombie Killer. I mean, there are some season 7 and 8 scenes that they're rewatchable, but I think of season 5 and I'm like, I can't think of a rewatchable scene. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Alicia helps, but even Alicia can't make the entire show watchable. I don't know. I don't think, but we'll see. DeRosa says season 8 was good, but the bottle episodes were whack. Yeah, I agree. I mean, season 8 was an improvement, but the Morales thing, the gunfire inconsistency, Carl's death, there was like stretched out the war into a whole season. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was on Fear level bad. I mean, but yeah, I still think like it was slightly better than what we got in Fear, but yeah, it was still pretty bad. And DeRosa agrees with Epic, and DeRosa says Fear is so is so whack. Oh, well, it's just me. No, it's not just you, DeRosa. I mean, Fear is, even when The Walking Dead is at its worst, I mean, there's still some rewatchability, but Fear, I just can't think what's rewatchable. I'm just like losing my interest in, watching it, reviewing it. Just, I mean, season 5 was challenging. So yeah. And DeRosa says best showrunner of The Walking Dead. Are you talking about Angela Kang, DeRosa? Because I definitely like what Angela Kang did in season 9, but season 10 she has been making a lot of mistakes, slow story, and you know some issues with the characters, but I mean it's still is really good. I'm just saying, like, the first half of season 10 was pretty slow. And Epic Zombie Killer says plus another thing in Fear season 5 was how they made Alicia Paintree so dumb and out of character. I mean, like, if they want to make Alicia more hopeful and stuff, like, that's fine, but making Alicia in the second half just paint trees, like, the whole, like, how do you do that to a main character? Have them do something silly like that for half a season, like that? Yeah, Epic Zombie Killer, I agree. That's just dumb. And let's see. DeRosa says we got Dave Erickson, Scott Gimple, Angela Kang, and the guy from season 1. Um, I would say each of them do their own thing, but like they all make some mistakes. Like each of them have killed off a character that they could have given us more on, and each of them have made at least one slow episode or a bottle episode. So it's just it's hard to say which is the best showrunner, but Angela Kang, Scott Gimple was the longest, but Angela Kang, I'm still holding out faith and hope for her that she could still make season 10 amazing. So yeah. And Epic Zombie Killer says, yeah, Fear content is dumb on my channel. Wait, yeah, Fear content is dumb on my channel. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean the reviews, or just when you review it, you say it's dumb? But yeah, I mean, honestly, when I started reviewing Fear, like, I mean, you guys maybe have noticed, but or maybe didn't, but I make jokes in my Fear videos, or like in the text in the reviews. There's like text, and I make fun of a certain picture that relates to a scene in the episode. And I mean, you guys can go back and watch it, but I did that with Fear just because it was so easy. I mean, the characters were just doing, dumb things, and yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna help with Fear in the future. Epic Zombie Killer says I meant done. DeRosa says Scott Gimple was showrunner in Walking Dead's Prime, season 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I agree. DeRosa, but he was also showrunner in its, well, maybe not its biggest downfall, but definitely I would say the biggest fan backlash, which was season 7 and 8. I mean, that was the biggest backlash from the fan base. So Gimple has done a lot of good in The Walking Dead, but he's done a lot of bad. He's done a lot of damage, and I just don't know if it's fixable. But we'll see. DeRosa says, when was The Walking Dead's prime? Well, you kind of explained it, but so as far as ratings, it was the beginning of season 5, No Sanctuary. I think like it was like 17 million viewers, but as far as like hype and loyal fans, I think it was like towards the end of season 6. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I would say somewhere around there. DeRosa says best Walking Dead season for me, it's season 4. I would say season 6, but yeah, season 4 was great. And Epic Zombie Killer says, I meant I'm not doing Fear content anymore. Oh, because of how bad it's gotten. Yeah, I was thinking about that, Epic Zombie Killer, but, I still want to see Fear what it does. Like, is it going to connect to the CRM? What happens with Morgan and Dwight? And, as long as Alicia sticks around, I will try to watch Fear because, she really does help make it worth it, but they are affecting her character, unfortunately. So yeah, thank you for the comment. DeRosa says Scott Gimple was running out of ideas. That's why they needed a new showrunner. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about season 8 to 9 transition, but yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. Like, how do you run out of ideas though? Like, you have the comic, you have all the characters and things from the show. I mean, you have the wiki, you have lots of fans who come up with ideas. I mean, there's got to be some way to get ideas. If you're a showrunner, you got to use every asset that you have, and I feel like Scott Gimple shouldn't have ran out of ideas. But yeah, thank you for the response. Let's see. DeRosa says The Walking Dead should watch the wa- Oh, The Walking Dead should watch The Walking Dead YouTubers to know what fans really want. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. I mean, like, us fans can come up with some amazing ideas. We have we know what people want to see because we are the people who want to see it. So it really makes sense. They should sometimes. They really got to give the fans more credit. I mean, because we have a lot of good points. When we react, we can see like Tom's death from Fear and just be like, that was stupid. I mean, they gotta use fans. Because it just doesn't make sense that they thought Tom's death in Fear was a good death. Like, how do you do a death like that and not make it silly? Even Dan from Dan's review said he laughed. I mean, you're not supposed to laugh. I mean, even the characters are upset, and most of those characters shouldn't even know Tom. I mean, it's just bad writing. But yeah, thank you for the comment. And DeRosa says I'm not watching Fear season 6. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try and watch it. Maybe they can change my mind, but it's pushing it. DeRosa says they should put Morgan, Dwight, and Alicia in the Walking Dead show. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa, but unfortunately AMC is not going to give up Fear. It's still somehow making them some money, so they're going to keep milking it, obviously, until it dries dead. So unfortunately, that's the truth. We just have to accept it. These CEOs, they don't want quality television, for their audience. They want money. So yeah. Epic Zombie Killer says, by the way, your favorite zombie movie. Wait, are you saying my favorite zombie movie? Oh yeah, you're saying my favorite zombie movie is Shaun of the Dead. I would say mine is the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. So I would say that's, I guess, my favorite zombie movie. But yeah, thank you for the comment. DeRosa says Fear made Daniel's character boring. He's supposed to be. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. I mean, Daniel is supposed to be tough, but he's supposed to have a nice side to him too. But all they did was just make him another pacifist like Morgan. I mentioned that earlier in my live stream, and I just don't understand why they took one of the toughest characters in the show and made him a pacifist. Like, imagine if Daryl was a pacifist. Like, fans would be angry, and rightly so. So yeah, thank you for the comment. Epic Zombie Killer says, yes, it did what yes, it did what they did to Daniel is like taking Daryl and making him pacifist. Yeah, I just said that, Epic Zombie Killer. I don't know if you heard what I said and wrote that, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't work. Some characters cannot have certain transitions like that. It just doesn't work. It's just not right. But yeah, thank you for the comment. DeRosa says Tom's death was hilarious. I never thought I would laugh at that. I didn't really laugh at that, but I wasn't upset. I mean, like, seriously, they should have shown it to a fan and been like, is this a good death? And a fan who watched it could have said, no, this is not a good death. You guys need to write better than this. So yeah, the writers definitely need to try better. They need to try harder, because if they want us to be upset like the Fear Group was at his death, you know, then yeah, you got to make his character and death meaningful. DeRosa says, bro, why milk Fear? It's so bad. I mean, DeRosa, it's making them money. The CEOs, all they care about is that money, and they don't care if it's making them $5, $10 profit. If it's making anything profit, they're gonna keep it, even though the fans don't like the quality of the show. It's the truth. Sorry. DeRosa says Zombieland 1 was awesome. Yeah, I've seen it. I don't think it was awesome though. I mean, it was alright. It was too, comedic for me, for my taste. DeRosa says, the what if The Rock was in The Walking Dead? Oh, I would not. I don't want The Rock in The Walking Dead. He's been in so many movies, just not in The Walking Dead too. I just don't want it. I mean, it's tough. He's just too big of an actor. You know what I'm saying? It would just take me out of the experience. But thank you for the question. DeRosa says, what if? Um, sorry, I missed that. What if even McGregor played as Rick Grimes? Oh, you mean Ian or McGregor? Isn't he like a wrestler or something? But I don't think he's the right fit for Rick Grimes. Um, I don't think I would like that. But thank you for the question. Epic Zombie Killer says, yeah, But yeah, Shaun of the Dead works because it knows what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm into Shaun of the Dead. DeRosa says if you had to start The Walking Dead over and you had to choose new act, a new actor for Rick, Shane, and Daryl, who would you choose? I can't really answer that question, DeRosa, because I have no idea about actors. I don't look them up. But one thing I would not do is I would not choose a Daryl. That's one thing. So yeah, I wouldn't get an actor for a new Daryl because he is strictly for the main show, but if there was a Walking Dead reboot, obviously I would have, actors like Rick and Shane. They would be somewhat comic accurate, but they would want to stay on the show and be okay with the roles that they had, but I would kind of focus it closer to the comics with a few remakes. Um, so guys, it's let's see, there's 3 people watching at the moment. And the live stream's been going on for about 2 hours, so I think I want to, you know what? Yeah, I really gotta go. Just a couple more minutes. I'm sorry, guys, last minute, but yeah, it's just this live stream has been going on for 2 hours, and I gotta get ready and get some sleep. But yeah, um, so let's see. DeRosa says, "What about Samuel L. Jackson played Rick Grimes?" No, no, DeRosa. I know you're joking, but yeah, Rick Grimes. He cannot. You can't use a black guy to play Rick Grimes. It's just not gonna work. You know, it's like. Let me just say it wouldn't work. It's like an Asian Rosita. It just wouldn't work. You know. But yeah, I I know you're joking, but it just wouldn't work. Epic Zombie Killer says, my opinion, if they should have recasted Carl. Yeah, when Rick supposedly died in season 9, they should have just then recasted Carl with a different actor and said it's been like 6 years, and then Carl is now like 23 or something years old, and then they can get an actor who's a little bit older than Chandler Riggs, but who still looks very similar to him, like an older brother. Because I mean, yeah, they have that in real life. Like some people look like an older version of you, so I would have just had that, and I would have had the actor be better than Chandler Riggs. Not saying he's terrible, but I would have recasted Carl. But yeah, and DeRosa says, "Good luck, bud." Well, thank you, DeRosa. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. You asked a lot of these questions and a lot of these comments, and I really appreciate it. And DeRosa says, yeah, they should have done that. Yeah, I agree, DeRosa. I mean, having a recasted Carl would have just been so much better. But yeah, Epic Zombie Killer says, bye, see you next stream. You're awesome, bro. Keep up the awesome work. Well, thank you, Epic Zombie Killer. I appreciate it. And I know I gotta improve my audio. I'm gonna try for the next week or so to figure out a way to improve my audio. But yeah, as far as my next stream, it's gonna be, I'm not sure when, like the middle of this month. I'll release a video and let you guys know a few days in advance what my next live stream is going to be. But it might not be for a while, like more than a week. But yeah. And DeRosa says, I'm so mad now. LOL. Oh, well, yeah, man. DeRosa, yeah, I'm sorry that, I got to end it, but it's almost midnight and I probably should really get some sleep. Um, and you say, good luck, bud. Well, thank you, DeRosa. I appreciate it. And yeah, guys. So that's pretty much it. Thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And yeah, and I hope you all take care and have a good night. Bye.